Thank you, Kevin. Well, yesterday we told you about the latest point-in-time count of Oklahoma City's homeless population. More than 1,300 people experiencing homelessness were counted on March 3rd, and that compares to almost 1,600 in 2020. It's a welcome drop, but may be attributed to warmer temperatures that day when fewer people showed up at the shelters. Well, today we're talking to Jared Shadid from the City of Oklahoma City, whose job is focusing on finding housing for the homeless. Thank you for being here.
No problem.
Affordable housing is a growing problem, so give us some perspective on what rental prices are like right now, plus the supply issue, making minimum wage.
Yeah, sure. Well, starting about 2015, a group of organizations, along with Oklahoma Housing Finance Agency, did a study on affordable housing in Oklahoma. Oklahoma County was lacking, but they found about 4,500 units. That means that that puts us basically at about 50% area median income. That's what they're talking about affordable. That's about $30,000 a year.
Okay.
Then when you look at what that breaks down to is someone making minimum wage has to work about 70 hours a week to afford a unit, what they call fair market rent, which is close to $700, a little bit under. To afford a two-bedroom unit, you got to work about 90 hours a week at minimum wage, which is $725 an hour.
Okay. Are we seeing the cheaper apartment complexes, the notoriously cheaper ones, now raising their prices? Do you think that's part of inflation or a landlord thing?
We have seen that in some cases, and while it may occasionally have something to do with inflation in a normal year, the events of the last couple of years seem to have caused that to really increase. It's kind of hard to get a grasp on the reasons why that is, all of them. But what really seems to be happening is demand has increased significantly. And that's really what's driving kind of those issues of access, is that the more people who are looking for units, then basically they can ask for more because there's going to be somebody who will pay it.
So I understand that Housing and Urban Development does offer some vouchers for people to pay rent, but are landlords accepting these?
Well, the vouchers come through the federal government and different organizations. We provide a different source, but really we're having trouble getting landlords to take a lot of them. Typically in a year, normal year, we would have no problem getting someone into a unit if they're on assistance. This past year, about any given month, you have upwards around 20 people with a voucher in hand who cannot get a unit, and that goes back to that access issue. If they have more applications on the table, they can be choosier about who's going to go into that unit, and that can shut out a lot of people who are on assistance or have less consistent rental histories or evictions on their record.
Okay, then so what are the short-term and long-term solutions for housing the homeless?
Short-term solutions is we have to ramp up landlord engagement, really intensify those efforts, because we can't wait to build more units. We have to get access to the market now. Longer-term efforts, though, would be that development. That would be part of it. A lot of funding sources are coming in right now, more than we'll probably ever see again in my lifetime, to develop those units over the next 10 years. I personally, though, think that should be seen kind of like a bridge and not just the ongoing permanent solution, because eventually those funds may be exhausted and you have to have measures in place to continue that development. The mayor's strategies to address homelessness that were put out by the mayor's task force last year, about a year ago, has a few affordable housing strategies that might be options for that, some like inclusionary zoning policies and affordable housing, like an affordable housing trust fund.
Trust fund,
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, so we might have to see more legislative action done in years to come, but we appreciate what you're doing so far. And we do want to ask also that part of your survey that you conducted showed that how many of the people experiencing homelessness are from Oklahoma, and how many really are from out of state? What did you find?
Well, I mean, there's this myth that gets tossed around whenever homelessness is more visible, that, some other city here is basically loading up everyone who's experiencing homelessness, putting them on a bus and sending them to your city. It is a myth. It exists everywhere. And when we surveyed our population, which we ask this question periodically, we found that roughly 83% were all Oklahomans. And it's really important to dispel that myth, because obviously it's a difficult problem to address, and it makes it even more difficult when you're chasing after non-existent causes.
Yes, thank you for clearing that up, because that is something that I've heard as well. We have so many great resources for our homeless society that they're coming here, but like you said, that's a myth. 83% from Oklahoma. Jared Shadid, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem.
And if you would like to help or volunteer with the Homeless Alliance, you can get more information at homelessalliance.org.